Hey, what is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football, bringing you guys a Red Zone Blitz alongside of Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk. Ezra, how's it going, man?
I'm just doing great. The Jets are undefeated. What can I say? I'm feeling good.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be for too long. But anyway, first week of football is in the books, and we're going to break our thoughts down on a lot of the matchups that went down, some of the breaking news that happened throughout week one, including Ndamukong Suh being fined $100,000 for his low block on center, the center for the Vikings. Forget his name there. I gotta get his name, but
I think it was John Sullivan.
John
Did I get that?
Sullivan. Yeah.
There we go.
Um, let's hit on that for a second. Not Matthew Stafford.
You
Ndamukong
want to
Suh.
hit? You want to hit on that like Sue? You want to go low on this?
Go low on it. Let's hear it.
I've always been a big defender of Sue and his critics. I've always defended him against his critics. But this is his sixth time. This is his sixth fine. He was suspended before, for the stomp. And he needs to flat out grow up. It's getting to a point I can't defend him anymore. He was a can't miss prospect. I still think he's a very good player. Okay, last night that D line, they did a great job on the Vikings, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But Sue's got to grow up, man. I'm losing ammo to defend him, and this time I can't. So I think it's justified because of his history, and that's why the fine was so big. It's his history, and that's why in the future it might not be a fine. It'll lead to a suspension. Because if 100K, what's the next one? A whole game check? That's a suspension. So it's time for him.
I think it's that whole entire team's mentality, just the way that Jim Schwartz kind of coaches that team, and we've seen so many guys on that team get arrested. So many guys get on that team get in trouble with the law. A few names come to mind. You got Nick Fairley, Titus Young, Mikel LaShore, and these are all young guys. These are all guys in these last 3 years that they've drafted. So I don't know if it's a mentality, if it's they think they're bullies. Because if they think they're bullies, they're not bullying anybody. It sure didn't work last year. They went 4-12. So if it's a kind of mentality they want to run, if that's their plan, it's not working. And clearly you're seeing that with Ndamukong Suh getting fined $100,000. Now, I did take a look at this before we got on live, and to me, even though it was a very quick, very brief, video, I don't know if it was worth him getting fined $100,000. Maybe it's the fact that he's been fined multiple times before, and the NFL is trying to send a message. But I didn't see anything that was violent or really that had 100% intent. Because go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I believe they didn't suspend him. Because I think they feel the same way as you do, but his past caught up to him. Okay, they're telling him you got to calm down. That's why they gave him a huge fine and not a suspension, because it's not as violent as everyone thinks it should be for warranting a $100,000 suspension. But it's like anything else. You get a certain amount of strikes, or depending what fine you get. If you speed too much, the fine gets higher and higher and higher. So that's what happened there.
Now, would you go out on a limb here and say what Clay Matthews did to Colin Kaepernick with that leap out of bounds? I don't know if you saw it, where he leaps out of bounds on Colin Kaepernick. Now, Colin Kaepernick had just started to go out of bounds. It just started, almost like the same scenario where we say with Levante David and the Buccaneers and Jets game on Geno Smith. He had just started to go out of bounds. Clay Matthews lunges at him, throws a penalty. But the way that he lunged, the guy was like 2.5, 3 feet off the ground. He looked like Superman. And a little fight ensued. I'd almost be willing, and even though I don't agree with this, I'd almost be willing that was more of a violent move than what I saw with Ndamukong Suh, going low on Sullivan there. So, I don't know. I don't think $100,000, for anyone else doing that, I don't think they would have been fined $100,000. Obviously, this comes down to Suh and his past.
You're right at the end there. But I disagree with the Clay Matthews hit. I just think he was just trying to make a play. I don't think he was trying to hurt Kaepernick. I don't think it was that serious. He deserved the penalty on the play because Kaepernick was clearly out of bounds, but it was the momentum that made the hit look so vicious that it was an intent. He was just trying to make a play. He was already in midair. It is what it is. So, but I didn't think it was that serious either.
Yeah, and I wouldn't agree with the fine on Matthews either. But some people are saying that over here in Wisconsin over ESPN Radio. So we'll see. Now, week 1. Let's start just dissecting this out, man.
Okay, what do you want to get into?
Three teams that you absolutely just were surprised that you thought, yeah, it's week 1. I'm not sure what they're gonna bring to the table, but they won their games. 3 teams that you weren't expecting to win this weekend. Go ahead.
I don't. I'm gonna go with one, then you go. We'll alternate here, okay, David? I won't say I have. It was hard when I was looking at these games. I don't have 3 teams really that surprised me, but this one right here, now I'm surprised that they won. It's just the way they won, and that's the Denver Broncos. They were actually losing 14-17 by halftime, and we know already 7 touchdowns. Peyton Manning, they win 49-27. It was an onslaught in the second half. I picked them to win the Broncos, but just watching the second half, it was like, what's going on? It's like the Ravens disappeared. This is your Super Bowl winning champions last year. I know this defense was revamped, and a lot of people thought this defense was a lot better than last year, but they were lost. And another thing is, I tweeted this after the game. I didn't particularly think Peyton Manning was sharp. And that's very surprising to say because the man got 7 touchdowns. He was doing a great job spreading the ball around and stuff like that and dictating his offense, but I didn't think he was particularly sharp on his throws, and it was just very surprising to see the Ravens defense play that bad.
7 touchdowns is no joke. We haven't seen 7 touchdowns since the 1960s. We've seen 6. We haven't seen 7. So Peyton Manning definitely went to work in that second half of that game. So I definitely that game was a bit surprising the way it turned out, especially with the defending Super Bowl champs. I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles over the Washington Redskins, and I made a little video last night about this. The way Chip Kelly has come into this team, the way he's kind of shown these offensive schemes and plays and setups and formations, I was really surprising to see, and it was really cool. So the first half, without a doubt, the Philadelphia Eagles just ran through the Washington Redskins. Second half, they slowed down, and I think the problem with that is Chip Kelly really wanted to come out up tempo. He wanted to come out no huddle. He wanted to come out as fast as he could, and that's exactly what the offense did. They were able to put up 33 points pretty fast, and then they slowed down. So I believe that team got winded there, but they ultimately won the game even though the Redskins started to come back. I like the Eagles over the Redskins for this last week in week 1, even though I picked the Redskins to win this game. I was surprised a little bit by the Eagles.
Just watching that offense operate was surprising. It was a good surprise. It was wow. It was a wow factor. It was good to watch. My second surprise win was the Tennessee Titans over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not because I don't think the Titans are not good enough to beat the Steelers. It's just the Pittsburgh Steelers did their part defensively. They held the Tennessee Titans to 229 yards. Total 229 yards. And they still lost the game. That just speaks volumes about the Steelers' injuries and their offensive side of the ball. But just the way the Tennessee Titans won with that mediocre offense was a surprising thing. And I just want to give a little fun fact. The Steelers only managed 195 yards, so they managed 30 yards. So that was surprising to watch, and probably grueling to watch for Steelers and Tennessee Titans fans. Oh man, that must have been a horrible game.
Yeah, it probably was a pretty boring game. I was listening to a little bit of it on ESPN Radio. I was surprised to see how lackluster that offense was. There was no movement. The running backs really didn't do much at all. Ben Roethlisberger didn't do anything. Is it Marquise? Because I know there's Mike and there's Marquise. I think Marquise is the one on the Steelers. The center is out for the year now because
Big
he tore
loss.
huge loss. At the middle of that offensive line, tore up his ACL and MCL. So that was probably a very ugly game to watch. Tennessee Titans, I picked against them, and they won, so that's good for them. The second game I'm going to pick for you, this is up Ezra's alley, because I'm going to pick the Jets. I'm going to pick the Jets over the Buccaneers. I did not expect that. I was on remote location for a broadcast, for a broadcast I had to set up for my internship. And I was talking to one of the guys there that I was with. I was, you know what? The Jets are going to get blown out today. I think the Buccaneers are going to come out and destroy the Jets. And that did not happen. And they only won by a point. And, yeah, there was a Levante David play, where it was at the end of the game. Geno Smith is trying to rally the troops down the field, and he gets pushed out of bounds, gets a flag thrown, puts them in field goal range, and they kick the winning field goal. But the point is they still won. And I was not expecting that at all. I thought they were going to get demolished. And now they're 1-0. Like you said earlier, they're undefeated right now. So
Jets, Jets.
Yeah, so that was a surprise for me.
And to your surprise is my surprise, and that's my third game is my Jets over the Buccaneers. I'm gonna start in our Pick'em league with Get With It Sports. I actually picked against the my Jets. I never did that last year. So I might start that trend, pick against the Jets for the rest of the season, and we'll probably win games like that. But the Buccaneers, you know what? They kept drives alive. Before that David penalty, okay, there was Golston. He kept 2 drives alive with his late hits, okay, which led to points for the Jets. And that David, I tweeted this also, even though I'm not arguing the call, I felt like that last penalty that helped set up the field goal was pretty weak, to be honest. It was the right call, but I felt it was pretty weak. If they didn't call it, I would not be an upset Jets fan right now.
That's surprising.
I tweeted that.
I didn't see that, but that's actually, I like that you said that, because I feel as if not too many people would be willing to admit that.
Because Geno Smith didn't even have a foot down and out of bounds yet. He was going out of bounds, that's clear. But he didn't have a foot down, and David just pushed him, and it was called a flag. I was like, you know what? It's just plain and simple. If I'm a Buccaneers fan, I'm pissed off. So I was like, you know what? That was pretty weak. So it is what it is. But Geno Smith saved the day. New savior of New York. Here we go, baby. I was asking all offseason for a top 3 pick for my Jets next year, and they go ahead and win the first game. And I got to give a shout-out to Joel, who helps me out on Idiot Sports Talk. He had that prediction spot on. He had the Jets winning, and he said something weird was going to happen at the end, and he was spot on. Got to give him credit.
Last team I'm going to pick, even though they lost this weekend, just the way that they looked out on the field, the San Diego Chargers. Phillip Rivers. Now, this offseason, I've really been hating on Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, saying, they're the same old Chargers. They're not going to amount to much this year. Peyton Manning's in their division. Well, they were up 28-7 at one point against the Texans.
Yes.
Even though the Texans came back late in the game in the fourth quarter, kicked that field goal to put them up 31-28 to win, the Chargers, I felt, controlled a lot of that game. There were turnovers forced. There's things that I thought the Chargers did well, and I'm going to give a little bit more credit to the Chargers, even though they lost. So that was another one of my surprise teams for this weekend. Now, I actually have a handful of teams that were going into week 1 that I was very confident in, who I don't really, I'm asking a few more questions about right now. So Ezra, who are those 3 teams for you that you thought were going to win and either lost or just did not really play up to par this last week in week 1?
I'm going to keep it plain and simple because you just spoke about the game. Texans, Chargers, 21-point lead by halftime. New coach, same result. They pulled this last year. Come on, it's new start of the year. You had this huge lead. You had your foot right on their throats. You should have pressed down on it. Go for the kill. They didn't. Why don't you run the ball a little bit more, set up some play action? So that was a surprise loss for me right there. So I'm going with the Chargers.
How about the Seahawks almost losing to the Panthers in a very low-scoring game. 12-7 was the final in that game. Now, I did not look up stats, did not look up highlights. I'm going based off of the score here. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I can't watch every single game and keep up with every single one. I'm going to have to go back and look at some of that stuff. But just by looking at the score, and I know that the Panthers were leading the Seahawks for a while, just from one touchdown. Was there? I mean, were you able to watch it?
I wasn't able to watch it, but it's not too surprising to me because I think the Panthers' defense is much improved. I think this is the year their defense shows a lot of hope and progression. So I like the Panthers' defense. And remember, all offseason, what did I tell you? I'm not that high on the Seahawks. I thought they were overrated, even though I still picked them to win the division.
I don't know. I don't know about them winning the division.
That was an offseason. I saw that 49ers game yesterday. Whew, whew. But we'll get into that later.
Oh, we will get into that later because I have my 2 cents on that game. But again, the Seahawks just by the score, putting up 12 points, that's disappointing to me. Next team.
I got the Atlanta Falcons, not because I had them winning, because I picked the Saints. I picked the Saints to win the division, but the way they lost, the New Orleans Saints only scored 23 points, and they win the game. So I think the Falcons' defense did their job, but their offense didn't. So that's a surprise loss for me. That you tell your defense, hold the Saints to 23 points, and we got this. I think they'll take that any day of the week, and they came up short. So, Atlanta Falcons.
How about the big old bad New England Patriots, where every single year everyone thinks that they're going to come in and dominate the league, dominate their division, for sure playoff spot. How about the Patriots, who had to kick a last-second field goal to beat the Buffalo Bills with a rookie quarterback in E.J. Manuel? Now, that's a little bit surprising to me. And the Bills were leading for a lot of that game. You know, E.J. Manuel was throwing to Robert Woods, 2 rookies connecting there. Tom Brady has a lot of rookies around him as well in the receiving corps and at tight end. You know, Gronkowski's not out there. They had to use Zachary. Is it Zachary or Zach Sudfeld?
Yes, Zach.
I'm forgetting a couple of. I always forget the receivers there. They have Kembrell Tompkins and
Edelman had 2 touchdowns.
Edelman did have 2 touchdowns. That's correct. He did have 2 touchdowns. And Edelman's been in the league, so I guess, you know, Tom Brady wasn't really.
Yeah, but you don't expect Edelman, who was like the 5th receiver on that team, to have 2 touchdowns.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And that's the thing. I think Tom Brady might actually have. He might struggle a little bit, and not him specifically, but his numbers might drop slightly due to the fact that he's playing with a lot of new guys. Due to the fact that these guys are rookies. You know, these guys are still learning. You know, routes, catching in traffic.
You got to gain that chemistry with your teammates and all that. On the Patriots, I said about this division. Okay, I think this division is soft, and I also think the Patriots soft. But since they have Tom Brady, I picked them to win the division because, and it showed yesterday, 4th quarter, you need a drive, you need yards, you need to get in field goal position. Who came through? Tom Brady. I think the Patriots are past their heyday, plain and simple. They're just not that elite team. Maybe when Grunt comes back, they'll look a lot better. But I think this division is just soft, and the Patriots is just lucky that everybody else doesn't have a Tom Brady. Well, nobody really does.
And then we're going to need your 3rd team. I think that was mine. My 2nd was the Patriots.
And it's honestly, I don't have a 3rd team. It's just a lot of the teams that I had winning or losing, I was pretty good this week. You know, nothing really surprised me in the sense of losses this week. After those 2 teams, Cincinnati, who everybody's high on, I picked the Bears in that game. But a lot of people think that's a surprise. Maybe the competitiveness of the Raiders versus the Colts. Okay, maybe that was a surprise. But I don't want to see the Colts still won. But that's a surprise how close that game was. Okay, Pryor played great.
Hey, can you guess who the leading rusher was this week in the NFL.
Leading rusher this week in the NFL, I think that's LaShawn McCoy, I believe.
Was it?
Yes. He had 183. He had 184 yards last night.
Who's the second leading rusher?
I think it's Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor.
Because before LaShawn McCoy, matter of fact, there was another, the third guy, Shane Vereen from the Patriots. Mm-hmm. So there was only 2 running backs this first week, that had over 100 yards. Shane Vereen, LaShawn McCoy, and the other guy is not a running back, and that is Terrell Pryor. The man played great, okay? And people are asking right now in the comment box, would have Matt Flynn done better? You know what? I don't know. But guess what? Maybe he doesn't provide the hope, the excitement that Terrell Pryor is going to provide for Oakland Raiders fans. Okay, I don't know if he's going to keep it up for every week, but this is excitement for Raiders fans, something they haven't experienced in the last 3-4 years.
I don't know if Matt Flynn would have done better, because obviously Terrell Pryor is that dual threat where he brings his legs into the equation where he can run on teams. So Matt Flynn does not bring that, and he's been really hit hard. Everyone criticizes him for a weaker arm that he has. I don't know if Matt Flynn would have done better. If anything, he probably would have done worse. I just have that feeling that Terrell Pryor, for now, is the quarterback for the Raiders, and Matt Flynn could get cut. Probably won't get traded because of his salary that he has right now. So Matt Flynn's future right now is not looking good, because now this is the second year in a row where he's gotten his job has been taken over by somebody else.
So what's your third team?
My third team was the Bengals. And it's not on a scale of, if it was on a scale of 1 to 10 and I was absolutely panicking, the Bengals would probably be at a 1 or a 2. But I was just slightly disappointed that they did not get a win. I did pick them to win this weekend. And no, it's not because I'm a Packers fan and the Bengals played against the Bears. I legitimately thought the Bengals were the better team going into week 1. Not taking anything away from the Bears, because if the Bears can work on their pass protection, keep Jay Cutler in the pocket healthy and upright, the Bears should be fine. I like Andy Dalton a lot. I like A.J. Green a lot. I like what they're doing, building around Dalton, bringing in another tight end in Tyler Eifert, and that defense I think is top 10. So for them to lose for me this week, just a slight disappointment, so that's going to be my number 3 team. But I don't know. I didn't see too many other teams that I was absolutely like, besides the Steelers, but we already talked about them.
Like I said, I had the Bears this week, and only like 4 people saw my predictions video, but I actually have the Bears going to the Super Bowl, so they have to be some quality teams to show me my prediction is right. So
you had the Bears going to the Super Bowl?
That's right. I got the Bears going to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I know you don't want to hear that, Packers fan.
Over the Niners.
Over the Niners. Over your
the
Packers.
Seahawks.
Over the Seahawks.
Over the Falcons.
Over the Mighty Ducks. Whoever's in the NFC, I got the Bears going to the Super Bowl. That was my off-season. Hey, no one picked the Cardinals a couple years ago to the Super Bowl, right? Who picked the Cardinals a couple years ago?
You know how bad that division was at that time?
You mean the conference? Because you got to win the whole. You got to go through the whole conference to go to the Super Bowl.
You got 6 of your 16 games against your own division.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Bears. They won 10 games last year. Let's not act like they weren't a good team last year. But let's not get into my prediction. No, don't get on me. Get on me. Who? Oh man. Anyway, so you want to talk about who's your offensive player of the week?
Yeah, who is the offensive player of the week? Now, I think I'm trying to find more names than just 3, because I know Peyton Manning is 7 touchdowns. Honestly, I think that's a unanimous decision right there. But let's just throw out some more names.
Anquan Bolden. Bolden.
Colin Kaepernick, Anquan Bolden. They put up huge numbers against the Pack.
He's leading the league in receiving yards.
208 yards, I would assume. A.J. Green had a big game against the Bears.
Yes, he did.
Who else? Let me take a look at these stats here.
LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy had a pretty solid game.
Pretty solid, 184 yards. That offensive line for the Eagles was whoa. I don't know. It was just I don't know if it was the Redskins D-line or the Eagles offensive line, but the holes, the lanes he were getting were, oh, man, was amazing. LaShawn McCoy looked fantastic last night.
Drew Brees threw for 357 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception there. Pryor is the second leading rusher in the NFL right now, behind LaShawn McCoy. So that's impressive in and of itself. He had 112 rushing yards there. How many passing yards did he have? He had, I think he was still in the hundreds. Where is it? Of course, when I'm looking for it, it's not there. There it is. He actually had 217 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
If I had to pick a guy after Peyton Manning, I'm going with Anquan Boldin.
Are you? 208 yards
even
and
though,
1 touchdown.
Even though I don't want to take anything away from Kaep or Boldin, but your Packers' defense was pathetic.
No, it's not the defense. Now I'm glad we're on this topic.
It was the defense.
No. Now let me tell you what it was, because I watched this game from beginning to end.
So did I.
Everyone wants to say the defense. It was not the entire defense. The run defense in Green Bay looked awesome. The entire game they held Frank Gore to about 20, 30 yards, and then he cracked a bit of a long one at the end there. He had 44 yards the entire game. Colin Kaepernick, they contained him to under 20, was it 25, 26, 27 yards rushing. They contained him in the read option. I was surprised they did not run it a little bit more, but they contained him. The run game they contained. When it came to the secondary, the reason why the Packers struggled was because they were playing second stringers and rookies. Now, these guys are not starters. Morgan Burnett at safety was out. Casey Hayward, who was in the voting for Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, I believe he had 6, 7 interceptions as a rookie. He's hurt. He's going to be out for about a month. We did not have all our starters. We had Tramon Williams and Sam Shields. And then in the secondary, you probably never heard of this guy before, Jerron McMillan and MD Jennings. MD Jennings notably, known for that interception in Seattle that was taken away. But those were the guys starting at safety.
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact they were on the field last night for the Packers playing defense.
I understand.
That's what I was talking about. Last night's defense by the Packers was pathetic. Anquan Boldin, I love him. Like I gave him more credit than anybody else when it came to the Super Bowl run, saying he made Joe Flacco look good. He does not get separation from anybody. He was by himself half the time when he caught these balls. He doesn't. I don't know if they disrespected Anquan Boldin or Anquan Boldin's route running was that wonderful, or he used some Madden stats. He put it up his speed or something. I don't know what happened, but your Packers secondary was lost.
Zone. They were playing too much zone.
And another thing is, I think they game planned, like you said, for the read option. The 49ers didn't run the read option that much last night. They said, they said, Kaepernick, I want you to be that pocket passer. And he was throwing beautiful passes left and right. But then again, you should be able to when you got guys wide open. So you better hope you guys get healthy real quick because...
Oh, they will. Don't worry. I think we'll be all right.
So I think it has something to do with the game planning, injuries, a combination of everything. But that secondary was horrid. Horrid. It looked like the Jets offense from last year, okay?
I think it was more of those zone schemes that they were running. He was running to open spots in the field. Because if it was man, he would have had somebody on him. And I've heard that they were double teaming Anquan, but they were double teaming him with Micah Hyde, a 5th-round cornerback who was just drafted this year. How are you going to put a rookie? That's one thing I was really questioning. You're putting a rookie on a 10-year veteran. That does not make any sense to me. I don't know. It really had me hyped up.
I can see that. You usually don't get this loud.
No, I know, and it just doesn't make sense. We have smaller corners in Green Bay. The corners that we were playing out in San Francisco in week 1, they were small. So my thought process was if you jam them at the line, they'll probably get beat. Anquan Boldin is a bigger receiver. if I was a defensive coordinator, I would try and be as physical as possible. Jam him at the line, disrupt their route running, do whatever you can to not let him get comfortable. And that is the opposite of what happened when they played the Packers this week. And it just pass after pass after pass to Anquan Bolden. I'm scratching my head. Like, can't you adjust? Can't you do something, please? And they did not do it. So, it's 2 safeties, second string guys. I'm just waiting for that secondary to get healthy. Then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm happy to see that you're human, David. I'm happy to see the emotions come out of you. This doesn't usually happen. So that performance must have had you screaming left and right last night.
I was not too pleased. All right, let's take a look at YouTube here and see if there's any questions from you guys. If you have any questions regarding Week 1, winners, losers, players, anything, throw them down in the comments below. Me and Ezra will answer those. Now, before we continue, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/WakeupItsFootball. For Ezra, it's facebook.com/IdiotSportsTalk. You guys can also check us out on Twitter as well. Just type in WakeupItsFootball, Idiot Sports Talk. You'll find us. Follow us on there. We update that stuff every single day. So I'm going to refresh here on YouTube, see what's going on. Any questions, comments, concerns? We got Joel Rodriguez saying LaShawn McCoy yet again trying to defend his #1 pick in our fantasy
YouTubers
football
league. Yeah, YouTubers league. And you know what? After Week 1, he's right. After Week 1, he's right.
After Week 1. Will he be right after 16 weeks?
Wait, hey, I'm just saying. After Week 1, he's right. Let's just stick to. That's what I want to put. I want to put this in perspective for everybody. Don't put too much stock into Week 1, guys. Okay? We're saying all this stuff about how people look, this and that. It's only Week 1. This is not the end of the season. Okay? Geno Smith is not 16-0.
You wish he was 16-0.
I wish. Okay? I truly do wish that. So, just don't put too much stock into this first week.
All right. Any questions at all? Okay, here we go. Willify has a question for us. What do you think of Terrell Pryor's game, and do you think that Matt Flynn could have done better? I already answered that question.
Yeah.
Whoops, that was my fault. Pryor played well. He ran all over the Colts. That he did.
We got a lot of Terrell Pryor. See, I told you, he brings excitement. And I don't even think these guys are Raiders fans.
Ezra, I don't know if you have the comments pulled up right now, but it says there's all comments. There's 14 of them. I'm only seeing 5.
Same here. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know if
YouTube is yeah. I don't know if it's YouTube or what the deal is. Let me see if I
can refresh this. I think there's more comments and questions coming in, so I'm gonna have to. I tried refreshing and all that, doing that wonderfulness, but nothing came up. You gotta love YouTube and the way that they run things sometimes, you know.
Hey, it's a huge site. It is what I'm gonna defend them here. Okay, it's a lot to cover, a lot of servers and all that. I want to talk about how Christian Ponder's holding back Adrian Peterson. Okay.
Okay.
The man had 78 yards on his first carry, correct? He didn't even crack 100 yards yesterday. The Lions were stacking that box. They didn't respect Ponder. Why should he? Why should they? Didn't Ponder throw, 3 interceptions last night?
I don't know exactly.
Let me pull up his exact stats. But, okay, Adrian Peterson, 1 carry, 78 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He had 18 carries for the game and ended up with 95 yards. So the next 17 carries, he averaged 0.8, 0.9 for the rest of the game. It's just Ponder is holding the Vikings back big time. They need to make a move, okay? Maybe, this is a scenario. Maybe this is me going with my Miss Cleo going on, all right? If Josh Freeman, okay, I'm hearing that he lost his captain status in Tampa Bay. I'm hearing rumors that they're not very high on him anymore. He lost to the Jets this week. He didn't have a great game. If he loses another game or two, he gets benched. the Josh Freeman era is done in Tampa Bay, should the Vikings go out there, make a trade for him? He's better than Christian Ponder easily. I'm just saying, I'm not sure he'll be on the trading block, but if I'm the Vikings, you know what? He's a third-round pick. I don't think the Buccaneers would turn down a third-round pick for Josh Freeman if he loses favor like everybody's talking.
That's an interesting idea, I guess you can say, for that.
All right, here's Christian Ponder. He went 18 for 28, 236 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. That's it. 3 interceptions.
If you want to trade for Josh Freeman, first of all, who do they have behind him? It's Mike Glennon, who they just drafted in the 3rd round this year, who I like.
A lot of people like him. I hear the Buccaneers front office like him a whole lot. Well, obviously they drafted him, but they say he's impressed during training camp and all that good stuff.
If they decide to trade him, they still have somebody behind him. He's a rookie, so we're not sure how he would do. But I think it really comes down to is, do you think Christian Ponder, it's his 3rd season there, do you think the Vikings want to give up on Christian Ponder so soon? And maybe not. Maybe that's not the right. Those aren't the right words, so soon, because it has been 3 years. I think this year I came into the season saying that Christian Ponder, this is his season. If he does not prove it this year, they might look elsewhere. But I think if he struggles in week 1, 2, and 3, do you think it would be too early to pull the plug on Christian Ponder and go out and look for a trade partner?
Not on Christian Ponder. I don't think it's too early. Not at all, because he hasn't provided anything from that position to balance that offense. Maybe on the flip side, maybe it might be too early for the Buccaneers to pull the plug on Josh Freeman after 3 weeks, because they had a big offseason. They have high expectations this year. So maybe they might be like, you know what, let's not pull the plug and put in a rookie QB just yet. That's the only one that would be concerned with, is with the Buccaneers plugging. But the Vikings, I don't think so. Unless you want to be that stubborn and think Christian Ponder. It's not like he came into the league with a huge arm and stuff like that. They called him the next Chad Pennington. Chad Pennington had way better games than this. He didn't throw 3 interceptions. He led his offense. He gave Curtis Martin that balance. So he hasn't developed into that Christian Ponder. That Chad Pennington mold. So I think it's time to let it go.
I think they need to give Christian this entire season to really see
how he plays. I already see what he gives you. Nothing. Get rid of him. I'm tired of this. Let's wait. Okay, that's what was wrong with my Jets. Let's not wait. If you know the guy's crap, get rid of him now.
That's the thing. They don't know.
No,
they're trying to figure that out.
The Lions know he's crap. That's why they boxed. Okay, they put 7, 8, 9, 10 guys in the box to stop Adrian Peterson after that first carry. No one else respects him. No one else respects him.
I'll tell you who respects him.
David.
No, I don't.
His wife?
Greg Jennings respects him. He goes to Minnesota, and he probably doesn't respect him. I'll tell you what he really respects. He respects the money.
Contract. Yeah, exactly.
He respects the money. So, but you know what? Christian Ponder, all I'm saying is he's a first-round draft selection. They went with him over, I believe they went with him over Andy Dalton.
Yes,
in the draft. So just give him the season. If it doesn't work, they'll probably look elsewhere. Now, I found a different way to pull up these questions and comments that you guys have. So, here's another one. 18 Lockhart says, "Do you think Coach Shanahan did he word this right?"
I'm going to talk about
okay, here it is. Do you think Coach Shanahan is above benching RG3 if he plays another bad game? I don't know if that's worded correctly. I think it says, do you think he'll think about benching RG3 if he plays another bad game?
No, not this early. No, not this early. But remember, I love tooting my own horn sometimes, David. When we did our rankings of these QBs, this legendary QB draft and these second-year players and all that, where did I have RG ranked? The bottom of my list.
Was it the bottom out of the 4? Right? Is it Kaepernick,
Yes,
Russell, and Andrew
Luck? Okay, I had RG 3-4, Wilson 3, Kaepernick 2, Luck 1. After week 1, looks pretty good. Okay, but I don't want to get on RG3 too much. I want to say this about RG3. Maybe he's not 100%. As they say, like Derrick Rose would say, muscle memory is not there yet. He's got to gain his football speed. His mind has got to get back to the speed of it again. It's his first action since the injury. He didn't have no training camp. He didn't have a preseason. So maybe we contribute his bad performance on that. But another thing is I want to contribute to more is last year, a lot of people failed to forget this. RG3 was not asked to carry the Redskins to wins. I've said that a lot. It was the running game and the read option. It was short passes. It was stuff like that. RG3 needs to work on his accuracy. You saw it last night. There was guys he was missing left and right that were wide open. RG3 is asked to win games this year. And I'm not sure he's there yet. People want to, put him a god at quarterback. It takes time.
I think it's a combination of Philly's offense really running up the score early on the Washington defense. And people, don't forget, the Redskins came back. They were down 33-7, but the final score was 33-27. So I don't know if RG3 did have turnovers in that game. He did make some bad decisions.
So did Alfred Moore. He was terrible last night. Alfred Morris to start the game was man.
And don't forget, RG3 is coming off a major knee surgery. So give RG3 some time. First game of the week, or first game of the season, I should say, give him some time. Because I don't think it would be fair to judge him off of one game. Think he might have had a fair performance, did have some turnovers. To bench him after 2 games would be ridiculous, even though they have a solid backup in Kirk Cousins. I think it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, same here. Even though I'm not on the RG3 bandwagon, it's way too early to pull the plug on him. Okay.
And we're going to go to the next question. Let me just pull this one up here. Next question. Very simple, very basic, Ezra. This is from Too Fast for Death. What do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs?
They play the Jaguars. It's not much you can say. I give them credit for not. I'll give the Chiefs this. When you play a bad team, you crush them. And that's exactly what the Chiefs did yesterday. They crushed the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we said all offseason, I have the Chiefs making the wild card this year. They have a bunch of talent, love their coaching, love their running back, who I picked as my offensive player of the year. So talent-wise, love them. But they faced the Jaguars last night, and they deserve a lot of credit for not giving them any hope. So, hey, the Chiefs did their job, plain and simple.
Yeah, 28-2, gave up a safety, but the Chiefs did good. I think the Chiefs did fine. Alex Smith, remember, that's the main X factor in that offense. Alex Smith does fine. That offense will do fine. I think that team will do fine. Their defense should be solid. So, yeah, they went up against the Jags, probably one of the worst teams in the NFL, but watch out for them down the stretch. Like Ezra said, they could be a wild card contender because we all think it's almost unanimous that Denver will win that division. So, Kansas City off to a 1-0 start, coached by Andy Reid, and Alex Smith should be fine. Let's go to the next question. Worst starting quarterback in the NFL, in your opinion?
Oh, man, that's tough to... You got to analyze. I'm Christian Ponder. I'm going with Christian Ponder. The top of my head. If you had to put an answer in an instant, I'm going Christian Ponder. He does nothing for the Vikings.
That's tough. Worst starting quarterback. I
Or
mean,
maybe, I was going to Blaine Gabbert, but he got hurt yesterday.
I,
It's got to be
Blaine
Christian Power or Blaine Gabbert. It's those two.
starting quarterback, as in like right now, all 32 teams. Because I would say Tim Tebow, because he started like a couple of years ago. But no,
Oh man, I'm not gonna get into this.
Tebow,
Tim
Tebow.
Tebow should. You know what? He's a better fit for the Vikings more than Christian Ponder, and I'm dead serious about that.
Why would he? Because Adrian Peterson can run? Because it would be more of a run-based offense?
Yes, there will be a run. And guess what? He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't do that. At least you have a guy that doesn't turn the ball over.
Okay,
Just
anyway.
ask Adrian Peterson to just win the game or try to win the game.
Worst quarterback in the NFL who happens to be a starter. I'm going to say Blaine Gabbert. Haven't seen too much out of Terrell Pryor, so I don't know. I can't comment on him. Haven't seen too much out of E.J. Manuel, even though he looked decent. Maybe Blaine Gabbert, because he's been in the league alongside of Christian Ponder. Remember that draft. Cam Newton, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, all in the top 12 there. It's either Ponder or Gabbert, because they've been in the league now for 3 years, and they really haven't done much. I think the Vikings made the playoffs last year, so I'm gonna go Gabbert. He hasn't really done anything for his team.
He really hasn't done it. But I'm going with Christian Ponder because he's got more of a balanced team. He's got more playmakers. Okay? When you got the best running back in the league, and when you had a weapon in Percy Harvin, he didn't do anything. Now he's got Greg Jennings and still got Adrian Peterson. Blaine Gabbert's I know he's got Maurice, one of the best running backs in the league, and Cecil Shorts. And he had Mercedes, the tight end. He's got a good talented tight end. So he's got some people over there, but Christian Ponder got more talent. And I guess I have to spice up my own argument, so I'm going Christian Ponder here.
I really wish that YouTube or Google Plus never gave us any problems, because for whatever reason, guys, every single week there's always some kind of a problem, and I don't understand it. Right now, I can't pull up your comments, can't pull up your questions, so we're just gonna have to keep it rolling here. I'm gonna look at the schedule from this last week. Actually, what we didn't do was defensive players. LaRon Landry, Gerard Mayo, Perry Riley, who I've never really heard that name before, all had 15 tackles.
Robert Quinn from the Rams.
3 sacks, correct?
3 sacks, so I'm going to give him a shout out.
Justin Houston also had 3 sacks for the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to him as well. Sean Phillips, 2.5 sacks for the Denver Broncos. Cameron Wake, 2.5 sacks. You got Charles Tillman of the Bears, back to his old antics, 2 interceptions. And Dimitri Patterson, who is actually an interesting player to have on that team right now. Real quick. He's 5'10". He's actually a starting quarterback. Yeah, they wanted to play him in the slot, but they released, what's his name? They released one of their corners very recently, and I was talking to a buddy of mine who was a Dolphins fan. I was like, well, who's going to start there at the other side of Brent Grimes? I said Dimitri Patterson. He said no. They're going to play him in the slot. Well, they're playing him at number 2 now, and he had 2 picks, so good for him. You want to say something, Ezra?
Sheldon Richardson played a great game.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, right, baby. And you were getting on him, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Rex Ryan put him in, he mixed him up at defensive end, and D tackle. He played great. Sheldon Richardson, he was disrupting the line. So, booyah. He had a good first game.
I want to take a look at those stats real quick. Because
another thing is, the Revis factor. Man, watching Vincent Jackson, who I call him Action Jackson from the Buccaneers, he was killing the Jets. I think he had like 140 yards against us. Revis factor. It's just, I miss Revis Island already. I just want to give that a mention.
How did he do? How did Darrelle Revis do against your Jets this week?
Well, who was our leading receiver? Kellen Winslow. So whoever Darrelle Revis was playing defense on, okay? I think he gave up 1 reception. You just don't. Revis is Revis, baby. Okay. But Kellen Winslow, that's another surprise. I think that's going to become Geno Smith's favorite target. And if you're weak at tight end, fantasy alert, pick up Kellen Winslow. And he's about fantasy alert. Your boy from the Rams again, Jared Cook.
Hey.
Lining it up.
Hey, didn't you laugh at me for drafting Jared Cook in that mock draft, drafting Tavon Austin, drafting Darrell Richardson? And you know what else? Just to kind of rub it in a little bit.
I have Darrell Richardson and one of my teams, so.
I put Jared Cook in my top 5 tight ends for this year.
Woo!
Yes. Yeah, and I did. Because I've always seen that he could make big plays. In Tennessee, I just never saw the quarterback play there to be up to par. So put him in St. Louis, where Sam Bradford, I think, is decent. Protect Sam Bradford, give him time. He'll get Jared Cook the ball.
Yeah, he was great. But Givens, he didn't do much. He didn't do much at all. Yeah, Chris Givens didn't do much. And you talk about, and remember that was our matchup game. That was kind of our first matchup game. It was. Because you're high on the Rams, and I'm high on the Cardinals. The Cardinals had the lead for most of the game, and you look at the Carson Palmer effect. The Cardinals had 3 receivers over 80 yards, and Larry Fitzgerald 2 touchdowns. Even though Carson Palmer is not one of the elite QBs in this league, obviously, he does provide stability over there, and Cardinals fans, and it was an exciting game.
Yeah, that's key. That's very important. You know, Carson Palmer definitely a huge improvement over Kevin Kaep, who stinks. John Skelton, who's a bum. So Carson Palmer, I'll give you that for your Cardinals. Close game, 27-24. So
and the Rams had to come back and take that.
Yeah, they did. So, you know, I like your pick. I like my pick. I'm glad that we got other teams we're watching. We'll see how they do in the NFC West, because that's obviously going to be one of the tougher divisions in the NFL. Taking a look at your boy, Sheldon Richardson, D-tackle for the New York Jets. 7 combined tackles this weekend.
Whew.
A half sack.
Whew.
What else did he do?
I think he did the Dougie. I don't know if he did the Dougie. He probably did it after the game, doing the Dougie. You know, 7 tackles for DT. Come on.
Okay? Yeah, that's a solid performance.
Stay competitive. It starts with the defense, in which they did a great job versus the Buccaneers. Doug Martin, muscle hamster, where was he? Huh? Nowhere to be found. I was proud of our rush defense, big time.
Really, really wish YouTube was not doing this to us right now, Ezra. Because it's just the thing that bugs me is I'm seeing the number of comments keeps going up, and I cannot look at the comments. It's like people are trying to reach out to us, man, trying to tell us stuff.
We got 21 comments and we can't see any of it.
I can see 5.
How did you see it before?
Now it's 22.
Okay. Now I see. All right. I see. What's the last comment do you see? I see Eli Manning had 3 interceptions.
Wait, you see him now? You see him?
I see, yes. I tried something else. I see something. Eli Manning had 3 interceptions. Does that make him bad now, Ezra? Of course not. Eli Manning, you know, the Giants, and we didn't talk about the Giants and Cowboys. The Giants had 6 turnovers, okay? David Wilson did not help Eli Manning. And how can you say, anyone that says Eli Manning's bad now is, you know, you slip it. The man had over 400 yards. He had 3 receivers over 100 yards. Yeah, Victor Cruz doing salsa lessons all night long, and I need him, and I'm Spanish, which is kind of pathetic. My family gets on me for all that stuff, but that's not the point right now. Thank you, Victor Cruz. Eli Manning, no, he does not make him bad. Okay, he had a bad game. His running back, David Wilson. Come on. This is not last year. Last year when he fumbled on the first carry, Tom Coughlin, he said, you know what, get on the back, all right? You're not ready yet. This year he's given the job. He's got huge talent. First carry again. You fumbled the ball, my man? You know the Giants signed Brandon Jacobs, right? He's a bum to me, too. If you got to sign that bum because you're worried about David Wilson, you got problems. So I think he might lose his feature back status with the Giants for the next couple weeks. He's got to regain their confidence. They'll probably put him in some screens and some plays where he can take advantage of the speed. But I'm not saying Giants fans should lose faith in him being a feature back, but they need to take their time with him because, you know, Adrian Peterson He had fumbling problems. Tiki Barber had fumbling problems. Those guys corrected him. So hopefully David Wilson can also.
I don't want, one thing that you should take away from that game is don't label David Wilson as a fumbling running back just yet. How many times did he cough it up this last game? Just once? Was it once?
I think he coughed it up twice.
Let me take a look at that, because
I think it was twice.
I'm going to tell you why. David Wilson last year coughed it up once the entire season, and
So?
people labeled him as a fumbling running back.
You know what? And you know how many carries he had last year? He had about 4 carries last year.
Did not have 4 carries last
And he
year.
had, let me tell you something. Who is the Giants' active leading rusher?
Right, for week 1, I couldn't tell you
No,
off the
no,
top
I'm
of my
talking
head.
about career-wise. Career-wise. Who is the Giants' leading rusher right now?
Is it Tiki? It's not Tiki
No, I'm
Barber, is
talking
it?
about active player.
Active player, Eli Manning?
Eli Manning, okay? Okay, he has 300 and something career rushing yards. You know how many yards David Wilson had last year? He had less than 300 and something yards. So he must have had like 4 or 5 carries.
Hold on. That is not true.
That's not true? Shit, you better look it up, my man, okay? Because they
358.
showed, huh? What'd you say? You better look it up.
358 yards last year, 16 games played, 71 carries,
Woo,
1 fumble.
Carries.
One fumble.
I'm just saying.
1 fumble. Would you label somebody who fumbled the
means he has-
ball once, as a fumbling running back?
I'm saying as a feature back, okay? Now,
Well, they drafted him in the first round to be that in the future. Remember who they had last
and
year?
the
was
future
Ahmad
is
Bradshaw.
today, and the future is today, and he was given an opportunity, and what did he do again?
I understand. He fumbled the ball. I understand. He actually fumbled it twice.
Okay, so he has 3 fumbles and less than 100 carries. That's what you're telling me.
That is correct.
I know that is correct. I know. So that's a fumble every 30 carries.
Oh, for 71 carries, he only fumbled it once.
No, he has
Look,
a fumble
he had
every 30 carries. That's the average right there.
Got the phone ringing right now.
Okay? That's David Wilson calling you saying thank you for defending me. That's David. Pick it up. He's calling you right now.
No, look. Hold off. If he fumbles the next game, maybe you start getting on him.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm getting on him now, and I think Giants fans agree with me.
No,
Okay?
I understand because, I mean, he's costing you he's costing you possessions. He's costing your offense points, possessions, time. You're wasting time if you're just going to cough the ball up, but he's still a very young running back. Those things
I'm not saying give up on him. I'm not
They
saying
can
give
be
up
worked
on him.
on.
I'm just saying he's got to gain their confidence. He's got to gain my confidence.
I understand
That's
that.
all I'm saying.
And you know what? Guess who they just worked out today?
I told you they signed Brandon Jacobs.
They signed him?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
And he's a
very
bump.
interesting.
And he's a bump.
I wouldn't say
He's 6'9", 345 pounds.
He's not
okay,
6'9".
and he gets tackled with one arm.
he's not 6'9".
Okay, he's 6'4", 260. That is huge for a running back. And
Is
gets
he
tackled
really
on him.
6'4"?
Check it. Dude,
I'm checking it right now. That's
like 6'4". He's like the offensive lineman playing running back. Sheesh. Well, let's check it out. While he checks that out, Justin Khan. I probably messed up your whole name right there. I botched it up. Should Clay Matthews be suspended for clotheslining Colin Kaepernick? We spoke about this earlier in the video. We didn't think it was that serious, so no, we don't believe he should be suspended. How much for a fine for Clay? $10,000. If you're asking me, they should not fine Clay Matthews. I didn't think it was that serious. Okay, I don't think it was a violent hit. Yes, he jumped at him. He brought him down by his shoulders, and there was a little fight. I don't think it was that. Like I said this last video, the NFL, we're all getting a little too sensitive. We're becoming sissy girls about this stuff. It's not that serious to me.
I don't think he should be fined. Brandon Jacobs is 6'4".
Yes, Welcome. I know this.
Wow. I honestly, that is the fact of the day for it. I did not realize he was that tall.
He's a big guy. Big guy.
That is pretty big for a running back.
He's a big guy that watches Hello Kitty videos. All right? Because he is soft. All right?
Hey, they just needed somebody they were familiar with, to be honest.
I know.
And you know what? Sometimes when teams do this, where they bring in guys off the street, it's not necessarily to start them or give them time. Maybe they will for a little bit, but I think it's more to scare the starter. Look, we're willing to go out and grab some bum off the street if you're not going to get your stuff together, and it's kind of to scare
Tom Coughlin doesn't play like that, okay? Tom Coughlin will bench your booty if you are willing to give up the ball. It is. He did it last year. He did it last year.
Oh, I know.
But he did have an established back. Yeah, he had Bradshaw. I don't think he's going to give up on David Wilson as he did last year so early. He's going to give him another chance because he's their best, most talented running back on the roster. So
remember where they drafted him, too.
First-round pick.
First-round pick. So
but that's what I like about Tom Coughlin. Even though he's a first-round pick, you mess up, boy, you get on that bench.
I agree with that. You know, I do. It's just don't give up on him so fast. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying on David Wilson. Don't give up on the guy so fast.
This is 18 Heart Locker. Do you buy into Peyton Manning as a playoff choker, or does he get screwed over by his teams?
Playoff choker. Well, look how he lost this last year against the Baltimore Ravens in Denver. I mean, that play where he lost, the play I'm specifically talking about is a little Hail Mary that Joe Flacco threw to, I believe it was Jacoby Jones.
Raheem Moore.
Over Raheem Moore. Now, was Peyton Manning out there playing safety? I don't think he was. That was Raheem Moore, you know, in a bad position, and Jacoby Jones catches the ball, puts him in overtime. Now, don't forget, though, Peyton Manning did throw a crucial interception in overtime that gave the Ravens the ball, and they ultimately went on to kick that field goal to win that game. I don't think Peyton Manning, though, just in general, a title to be given to Peyton Manning as a playoff choker, I don't think so. I don't think he's a choker. Remember, the guy has a Super Bowl ring. Any quarterback, maybe I should rephrase that because I would say 9 out of 10 quarterbacks probably deserve the ring on their finger. There's been some quarterbacks probably not. They really didn't do too much to contribute. Peyton Manning is not a playoff choker, in my opinion.
This is ridiculous. But to answer the question, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe a little. Matter of fact, no, it's more about his teams. I love Peyton Manning. I defend him. I believe this label is totally ridiculous, okay? Because most of the times that he's lost to the Super Bowl champ or the team that went to the Super Bowl, okay, when it comes to the playoffs. He's got a Super Bowl ring. When Peyton Manning is on your team, you are a Super Bowl contender. If that's a playoff choker, please bring him on down to New York City, okay? He should be in a Jets uniform ASAP. I'll give him $200 million. But
200.
I give him $200 million. Okay, I don't care. All right.
You know how? Yeah.
That's a different subject.
Hey, what's the salary cap? What's the salary cap for each team?
Like 130. So give him $40 million. Here's how great he is. Okay, when he's in his prime.
Unbelievable, Ezra, remind me never to hire you as any kind of anything in the front office.
Hey, he led the Colts. They had no defense. All they had was 2 pass rushers during his tenure with the Colts. That's all they had. Huh?
At $40 million a year at 37 years old?
I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Okay, you meant 39, right?
But I think in the playoffs, certain moments, he does come up short. Certain moments, he does come up short. Would I have him as my number one guy if I need to make a clutch play in a playoff situation? No. But a lot of people will kill me for my number one choice. A lot of people will be Tom Brady.
Do not say Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes, Ben Roethlisberger will be my number one guy.
Oh my!
That's me. That's just me. Okay. But Peyton Manning, you can't call him a playoff choker. You
Disgusting.
compare him to the rest of the league. The only guys that has anything close to Peyton Manning, and if you want to go to the playoffs, is Eli, Tom Brady. That's it. If you want to bring up Joe Flacco, yes, he had a great postseason last year, but he's got one Super Bowl just like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, he's just an incredible performer, and he does not deserve the criticism. He's an all-time great no matter what. Dan Marino's an all-time great.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring.
He doesn't have a Super Bowl. Plain and simple. So it's ridiculous for anybody to call Peyton Manning a choker in the playoffs.
Hey, we have the stat of the day from 18 Lockhart. Peyton has the highest, or actually, sorry, Peyton Manning has a higher passer rating in the playoffs than Tom Brady. Stat of the day brought to you by 18 Lockhart. Thank you there, sir. So, hey, you know what? Peyton Manning does not deserve. Look, what was it? What was it in quotation marks? Was it? Oh, now all my, of course, when I need to see the comments, they all refresh. Playoff choker, is that what it was?
Yes, playoff choker.
No, he's not a playoff choker.
This question's for you. From TCITYL. Okay, I don't know if that's supposed to read something. Should we expect more Eddie Lacy against the Redskins?
Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Now, here's the play calling, the mentality that Mike McCarthy has when he calls plays. He tries to tire defenses out with the run game. He even if it's not working, even if Eddie Lacy, his first 5 runs go for -1, -2, 0, 1, and 3 yards, meaning they're not getting anywhere, he's still going to try and pound the rock, regardless of who he has at quarterback. He's going to go into the game with a game plan, and he's not going to shy away from it. That's just how Mike McCarthy does it. So, Eddie Lacy, you're still, if you saw 15, 20 rushes for Eddie Lacy, I don't exactly know the amount of numbers that he had in rushes. Expect to see probably a little bit more against the Redskins. I would think that Mike McCarthy thinks the 49ers have a better defense, especially in the front 7, than the Washington Redskins. So expect to see a little bit more of Eddie Lacy against the Redskins, and I'm really hoping that running back there in Green Bay takes off, because it's really going to help improve the play action for Aaron Rodgers. So Eddie Lacy, one of his notable plays this last week against the 49ers with a 31-yard reception. It was a screen to the left side of the field, got down to the 5-yard line. Biggest play for Eddie Lacy there. He also had 1 rushing touchdown. So, yes, Eddie Lacy against the Redskins would be, you'll expect to see a little bit more of him. Now, let's see if we got any questions for Ezra.
I know there's no questions for me in there, but 1800 Larker made an interesting point, which I forgot. Tom Brady, he did have some sucky games in the playoffs himself, but let's not forget, his first 2 championships, he was more of a game manager, okay? Especially his first championship versus the Rams. It was a defensive team, running team. Tom Brady was a game manager, okay? Peyton Manning has never had the team to be just a game manager. Never. Never had the defense Tom Brady has had and stuff like that. So, just want to say that.
I got a question that we kind of overlooked. Super Hippo 95 asks if the Bears are the favorites in the NFC North now. Ezra, I'm asking you this one, because I know you picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
I got them winning the division too, but are they the favorites? No. Favorites is the consensus pick from the general public. Okay, from favorites is 7 out of 10 pick the Packers to win the division. Those are favorites. So the Packers are still the favorites in the division, even though the Bears won their first game. Are you asking me? My prediction was the Bears. I got them in the Super Bowl. So it is what it is.
You already know my prediction. You already know who the favorites are in the NFC North for me. So I'm not even gonna say it.
It's not only for you. It's everybody. That's what I'm saying. The Packers are the favorites because everybody believes. They got the best QB in the league. They got bunch of offensive talent, but they have flaws, and some people overlook that.
They do have flaws. I mean, every team. What team doesn't have flaws? It's
But they
just
got
I
some big
think
flaws, okay?
I told you. I already told you, Ezra.
You already spoke about your Packers, yes.
The secondary right now. It's the
and
secondary.
their offensive. Let's not act like their offensive line.
Whoa.
Great.
Don't. It's not great.
It's
but
not
yeah,
great.
you cannot
It's
forget
gotten better.
left tackle this last week against the Niners, our 4th-round rookie. And guess who he was matched up against? Aldon Smith. And the only reason that he gave up 1 sack, it should have been 0 the entire game. The only reason he gave up 1 sack to Aldon Smith this week, he went to chop block him kind of. He went very low, and they told him. They said, hey, you know what? If you go low on him, it's going to be pretty hard to block this guy, so probably don't do it. He still went and did it. Aldon Smith went around him, sacked Aaron Rodgers. Now, after that point, and that was almost at the very beginning of the game, after that point, he did very well for whoever he went up against. And for most of the game, it was Aldon Smith. So, very young, but hey, we're getting there. We are getting there on the offensive line. I think we've been on for about an hour and about 15 minutes. So we're going to go for a very little, a couple more questions, and then we will cut it off today. So, another question about the Packers here: will the Packers get a 100-yard rusher this season? I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say Eddie Lacy does it. Maybe not this week against the Redskins, even though I believe I saw somewhere someone put his stat line there. He had 41 yards against the Niners. I mean, it's the Niners. It's tough to run against the Niners. But I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to predict yes for Eddie Lacy. He at least has one 100-yard game this year as a rusher.
I'm going to also say yes just because I'm not talking about Eddie Lacy. I'm talking about any Packer. Law averages. That's what I'm going to go with here. I don't think the Packers could go 16 years straight without a 100-yard rusher, right? What was the last time you guys had a 100-yard rusher? Like 2012? I mean 2010?
No.
2010
I want to say 2010.
So this has got to be the year. You got to finally get one, right? So
I hope so.
Law averages, I'm going to go with yes. I just think their running scheme just doesn't open up huge holes, okay? And I know Mike McCarthy likes running the ball because he likes to keep defenses honest and, like you said, tire out defenses and stuff like that. But it's just their running scheme. It just opens up very small holes. But you got a tough runner in Eddie Lacy and a law average. I will say yes.
Okay. And sticking to the NFC North real quick, we got a question. The Detroit Lions, are they underdogs to you, Ezra, this year?
To me, yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, you could consider them underdogs. I don't think a lot of people probably still have them as the worst team in the division. So yes, they're underdogs, even though they got big talent. Megatron, Stafford, Sue. They got talent. Reggie Bush. Whoa, man, he was amazing that first game, right? He was a perfect complement to that offense. So, that North Division is still pretty tough. Okay, still one of the best in football. We got another question. Okay, too fast for death. Who wins the NFC North? Saints or Falcons?
NFC South.
Oh, South. Excuse me. I apologize. I already said this hours ago on this video.
Hey, I'm sticking to the Falcons.
And I'm going with the Saints. Drew Brees, my season MVP.
Matt Ryan. Look, I've got Brees as I believe it was number 3 quarterback this year. Matt Ryan is number 5 on my list. He cracks my top 5. He plays well at home. He plays in a dome. He wants to go and play the Saints. He just did. That was such a close game. I picked the Falcons this week, but close game, and I'm still picking the Falcons. And a lot of people are picking the Saints is because their coach is back, and Sean Payton. But
I mean, Jonathan Vilma. I just want to give that out there.
Here's a question: Does a coach like Sean Payton, does he tack on an extra couple wins for that team this year, just because he's there and coaching the team again? Because they won 7-9 last year. Does a coach really make that huge of a difference to where a team's mentality and a team's focus and the way they play is because of their head coach?
When they have talent, yes. When a team has talent, a coach can be a big difference. When a team doesn't have talent, coach can have a marginal impact on a team. Maybe they get a 1 win plus with a really great coach, maybe 2. But when you have great talent, coaching, the right system can elevate a team 3-4 wins, I believe. So yes.
I mean, and the Saints going from 7-9 last year, I really do believe that the Saints will finish above 500 this year. But I still think the Falcons are the team to beat in the NFC South.
Hey, they're the favorites. They're the favorites.
I don't know.
I agree with that.
I don't know if they're the favorites.
A lot of people got the Falcons as Super Bowl contenders.
You know what though? A lot of people have the Saints winning that division.
Yeah, including me.
I know. And right now I think it's neck and neck, and the Buccaneers are a team. I'm telling you, the Buccaneers might be a team to watch out for if Josh Freeman can play to his full potential, which I don't know. That's not looking like he probably. It wasn't looking too good against the Jets, so.
No QB's going to look good against the Jets this year, okay?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see. All right.
Tom Brady's going to find out this Thursday, okay?
Hey, I got the Patriots in that game already.
So what? You got yourself a loss.
All right. I don't know. Are you familiar with the best quarterback in this upcoming draft class, if we ask you that question?
Me, not really. Bridgewater, that's all I'm going to say. He looks amazing.
I like Aaron Murray still. I think that's going to be my...
I always said I like Aaron Murray because I saw very few games from him, and I was like, oh, maybe my Jets can get him in the second round and stuff like that. You think he's elevating himself to a top 10 pick?
I don't know about top 10.
All right, I'm hearing, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, you follow this a lot more closely than I do. I'm hearing this is supposed to be a strong QB class coming up.
I'd say stronger than this last year for sure. I don't know about 2012. I don't think there's going to be ever a comparison to that year. But they're saying Bridgewater and Taj Boyd out of Clemson are the two front runners to be that first quarterback taken. I like Aaron Murray. I don't know what it is. I watched tape on him last year because I thought he was going to declare for the draft. I thought he was going to be like a third rounder, maybe a fourth rounder. If he improves his game a lot more, I mean, he could be a first or second. I don't know about top 10, but if someone sees what they like in him, he could be that guy. He's a very tough quarterback. The one thing that I absolutely just starred in my notebook when I watched him, he can take a hit, and he can take the punishment, get right back up, and lead his offense down the field. So that QB toughness is definitely there with him. I absolutely love Aaron Murray because of that aspect. Taj Boyd, not too familiar with his game. I'm going to have to watch tape on him. Teddy Bridgewater, same thing. Aaron Murray, I'm a little bit more familiar with. My opinion could change by the end of the year, but right now that's my guy who I like as the top QB in the upcoming draft class. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up. We've been on air for almost an hour and a half, and it's been awesome. As usual, got Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk. Ezra, any goodbyes that you'd like to tell the guys?
Patriots fans, you better watch yourself this Thursday, okay? Geno Smith, Sheldon Richardson, we're coming to town. No, I think they're actually... No, yeah, they're coming to town. Coming to town. We're going to New England. So, and follow me on Twitter at Idiot Sports Talk. They lifted. I'm free now. I was suspended yesterday.
For what?
Twitter. They said I was aggressive following. I don't know what that. I read that means I was following a bunch of different people. I only followed like 2 people this week. All right.
What?
So I have no idea.
There's such thing as aggressive following. Like,
yes.
Oh, I want to follow 100 people today.
Yes.
That's aggressive following?
I followed 2 people. Maybe, I don't know. I thought it had something to do with my Tebow tweet. Okay? So, I don't know. There's some haters out there. Okay? They don't want to see this handsome young man. Okay? My birthday just passed. You didn't even say happy birthday to me. Okay? An hour and a half. My birthday was 2 days ago.
I didn't know.
You didn't know. It was all over Twitter. It was all over Facebook. Thanks for being a friend, David. Thanks for being a friend.
I'm sorry. Ezra, happy birthday. I'm sure everybody else wishes you a happy birthday in the comments box. How old are you now? 17?
How do you guys think I look? I did comment box. It's probably going to be delayed. But take a quick guess. How do you think I look?
How old is Ezra, guys? 3?
3. I act 3. I act that. Okay, I act that age. I'm actually, I don't feel like it. I know I'm not mature enough, but I'm actually 29. 29. I know, ladies. I look amazing. I look amazing for my age. And I haven't even hit my prime yet. Next year, I hit my prime, so, yeah.
One quick little shout-out here to AstroStar49. AstroStar, we are ending. We are finishing up. If you'd like, you can go ahead and rerun this. It'll be up on my YouTube channel in probably 5 to 10 minutes after we end. But we've been on for an hour and a half, so we're gonna head out. Guys, again, check us out on Facebook. Facebook.com/WakeupItsFootball. And for Ezra, it's Facebook.com/IdiotSportsTalk. But, again, if you guys want to catch the rerun, the whatever you want to call it, the video that's going to be posted up on my channel for this broadcast, it'll be up in about 5-10 minutes, hopefully. And you guys can get a rerun and watch this, whatever parts you guys want to watch. So, Ezra, before we head out, quick question. Do you want to try and see if we can schedule this once a week for the guys?
I would love to, guys.
At a certain time, or is that not possible?
It's not possible because my career, my job, where I make money to pay these bills and the internet and all this good stuff, my schedule always fluctuates. I'm in hospitality. That means, I'm always here for the guests. Always fluctuates. I'm working on getting a new career, so hopefully, I'm hoping within the next 60 days, I start my new career, and I have a set schedule, and I have a lot of things in plan when that happens, so hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Hey, and 18 Lockhart says you look about 25 in dog years. So that's like what?
Those guys put 20, 21, and this guy, AstroStar, he lied right now. He said, I was going to write 29, but I thought it would be rude. You put 20 because you know I look amazing for my age. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, wrapping it up. Dave from Wake Up It's Football, Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk. We will catch you guys hopefully next week to talk about Week 2 and all the results from those games. But
and
like
news,
I ended,
all the big news and all. And David, you look older than me, also.
You think so? All right,
You're
we'll
more
catch you
mature
guys
than
later.
me. I'll say that. I'll talk to you guys later.
We're out.